sent you by on your phones on the chat. Bunch of pages, the Rambams. I would suggest you open them up. We're going to be reading some letters of the Rambams. You have them. It starts with the Geras to Chachamim from Kolier, Agzeris HaKachavim. Do you have it? You don't? Let me check. It should have been sent. Oh, it didn't come across. Oh, God. A minute, I will have to send it again. Oh, no. Bad news. Just 1 minute. Back. No, it's not what I want. Oh, God. 1 minute. Let me find this. Deselect all. How do I do this? Must be a way of doing this. Okay, I guess I have to delete this. Delete this. Just 1 minute. Didn't come across. I see. Okay, let's go to recent. And it should be here. Right. Recover. Okay. Send. Share. WhatsApp. Share. Next. Send. Oh God. It'll take another minute. It'll pass. It takes time. I don't know why. To check which network this is on. It's okay. Okay, it should go. Send again. Takes time. I'm going to put it in another network. Okay. What was that? Yeah, it's going now, hopefully. It's coming. We discussed the idea of what the value of the Rambam really writes about astrology here. I'd like to elaborate on this because the Rambam Mamish holds it's a din of avodah zarah. So I think it's very important to go into this and see this. It's not something which the Tzibur is not aware of what this is. So within those sheets, you're going to see, first and foremost, a Rambam Hilchos Avodah Zarah Perek Yud Aleph. Someone tell me when it arrives. It should be coming there shortly. The light's so slow. Oh, it takes ages. Oh, it's moving. There. You should have it. Is it in your phones? Can someone tell me yes?
Yes.
And good. So open it up. Open up those pages. Go to Ramam Perek Yud Aleph of Avodah Zarah, Halacha Ches. Do you see it? Ezu Ma'onein. Ramam says, page Kuf Pei Beis, Elu Noisnei Ha'itim, She'omrim B'Istagninos. They say with their horoscopes, Yom Pleni Toiv, Yom Pleni Ra. This will be a good day for you. This will be a bad day for you. Literally, the horoscopes. Ra'ui lasses by malacha plainis. Do your deal then. You know, did you ever see these things? This is not a joke. Shana plainis and chodesh plaini, rala davar plaini. So the Ramam halacha tes also la'ainen afapi shelo osamaisa Elohidia oisan akazovim sha'ascholim medamin be'ein divrei emes. We know it's meaningless, but the fact that you're notifying that this is what it says in the horoscope is an issur derais of leisoiner. You shouldn't be an oinen and a machashe. I'm saying this is a very important thing to know. Elohidia oisam akazovim sha'ascholim medam she'ein divrei emes v'divrei chachma. V'chala osam and if actually do because of this horoscope business, v'kiven malachto oy halichosai ba'oisei ha'eis shekavu hoivrei shamayim harei zaloik. It's a chiv malchus. People think this is a joke. It's a chiv malchus. Shenemer loisoinenu v'enchena oiches oynayim. And what happens to the guy? No, he's doing nothing more than, he's fooling people. He's making an illusion. If you're doing something which people actually believe you're doing magic, and you're actually doing nothing more than creating an illusion, you're what we used to call an illusionist. For example, even if you go and you play these magic tricks, you have to say, I want you all to know this is not real, and this is it's not. If you go there just and people actually think it's real, you're over alive and you'll like it. Rambam continues, there's another thing which people do. They have this minhag, they have ayin hara, they go to somebody, and he says some psukim on them. So the Ram, it's called Pashrechen on ayin hara. That's what they do there. Okay, so the Rambam and Halacha Yud Aleph, it's all button Shulchan Aruch. I'm just reading this Lemaisa because many people think it's frum to do these things. You go to some guy that whispers some psukim on you, and he takes away your ayin hara, things like that. Dr. Rambam and Halacha Yud Aleph, Misha Noshche Akrav, or Nachash, if you're in danger, mutter lilchesh amakom anashicha, that's mutter. Afila b'Shabbos, that's a Gemara. Why? So he explains, Kidei the Yashiv died to the Chazikli, because you have this emotional hang up, and you think this will help, so we have to help you feel good. Because that's pikuach nefesh. Pikuach nefesh is also psychological pikuach nefesh. Afal pi she'ena davar moyel klum. However, mesukin hu hitiru lo kadesh lo titerv daiti olive. But haloiche shal amak haloch yud beis v'koyre pasuk min ha'torah v'chein koyre alatina shlo yuhas. Sefer Torah otilum alakot v'shmir she'yisham. These type of this ghoulish stuff. Lo yidai lehem she'em b'chal chavorim u'menachshim. The mamish in Israel of Chayver Chaver and Menachesh. Loidai lehem shein b'chla Chavar Menachesh el shein b'chla Koifrim b'Torah. Shehein oisin divrei Torah refuah saguf. You're saying this pasuk will heal you. So Stavisin Zayin, that's called Menoyin and Menachesh, and you're also doing b'chla Koifrim shein oisin divrei Torah refuah saguf. Ve'enoi eler refuah nefashos. It doesn't, the Divrei Torah is not referred so good, it helps your soul. Shenemer v'yu chayim l'nafshecha, ava bori shekor psukim or mizmer mitilim, kedei sheyagen olav schus kriyasim v'yinatzel mitzvahs v'nezakin areza mutter. If you say in the schus of the mitzvah of Talmud Torah Tefillah, you're going to be saved, that's not chayver chaver. But if you think that this pasuk will do it, like this gula psukim, that you think the pasuk does it, it's not the mitzvah, it's not the kisvei hakodesh. That's chayver chaver. Try now. The Rambam writes a step further in Halacha in Perek Yud Aleph in Halacha Tezayin when he puts all this together. The Rambam writes, "Dvarim elu kulam divrei sheker v'kozavim." Anybody tells you, you'll say Yechvei Svas, Shia Samecha 6 times and you have a great day. This is Pashat Divrei Sheker v'Kozov. V'hen shehitu b'hem oivdei kirchavim megzora hakadmoinim legoye ha'arotzos. This is how the ancient pagans misled nations. Kidei sheyinchu achareyim. They created these realities that people should follow. Hey, this is like a guy that gives you magical words and it works. You know, maybe we should follow him. Kidei sheyinchu achareyim. Ve'en ro'ui liyisrael. She'em chachamim mechukamim. Jews, which is supposed to be chacham mechukim, we're supposed to be intelligent people. Because at the time, most people didn't know how to read, and the Jew knew how to read and read, and he knew things. How can an intelligent human being follow such shtusim? How can a wise, intelligent person dream that any of these things have any ta'elus? It's a pasuk in Chumash more to Kol Amar. The God expects you not to look at these things and take them seriously. This goes for all these different zgula things. I don't know, put some knubble, put some garlic in your safe, and there won't be a geneva, and you'll make a lot of money. I've seen these things. Yeah, das is pashim ma'oinu mechashiv. Okay, kol amami b'dvarim eile v'kayotze behen u'mechashiv b'libo shem emes v'divrei chachma avla Torah asroisan einoi ela min ascholim sichlim u'mechusar adas. If you think it works, it's just usher, you're an idiot. First, we have it's very good you have a diploma for the Ramam that you're an idiot. Also important. It's very chashiv smicha. Okay, so he writes, if you believe this works, it's only usher, you're a sachal and a mechusar deya. And then he says something which is obviously not politically correct anymore. At the time, people which were vulnerable and susceptible to things with people which are not well developed in their thinking process did not read. Women and minors, the Rambam calls them, that was at the time. Well, today, we discussed this one. Things have changed. The Nashim are definitely different. Weiter. Aber Balei HaChochma Utmimi Adas Yedu B'rayas Berurus Shekol Ela Advarim She'asr Torah Ein Divrei Chachma Ela Toyu V'Hevel Shenimshichu B'hem Chaserei Adas V'Notshu Kol Darkei Ha'emes B'Glalan Mipnei Zeh, and because it's Narishkeit. And this was the narishkeit which Avodah used to create religions, etc. What did the Torah say at the end? Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. You should be a wholesome person. For him, tamim tiyeh means tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha, because the other stuff is not tamimut, it's narishkeit. Ram is pointing out is because this is not just usher. It is something which is off the rocks, off the screen. That's why God says, please be a wholesome person. Don't go off the boat. This is a very important thing, because a lot of Jews, religious Jews, we will call frum Jews, are deficient in this spirit in Rambam. They don't learn Rambam too well. Okay, now there's a whole letter of the Rambam dealing with this, and I want to read it to you. That's the first letter in front of us, the Igeris to Chachmei Montpellier, Agzeris HaKechavim. This is Montpellier, a very famous place in France. You must have heard of it, right? Ravam Minahar. You ever heard of Ravam Minahar? Ravam Montpellier. So this is what it writes. Higia Shailas Halufenum Yudaena Chacham Avinim Yoidas Din Vidas Adon Dinas Montpellier. Motam Ve'edil Terasam. They were Talmidei Chacham. He gives all these very nice brachas. This is Moshe Bar Maimon Asfardi, and this is your letter shows that you are pure people and you think well. Right from you search wisdom. You analyze things. You have a quest for development of your intelligence. is because of Yosher, you want to understand things clear and in a clear, correct way. I should read this every day before I say a shir. Unbelievable how this is. Just, yes, I'm talking to intelligent people that have a quest for knowledge. Zot the Rambam. I understood your question. All your questions come from one issue. Who called Davar? This issue of stargazers, as we call it, these people which think that the planets and the stars will define your past, present, and future. Obviously, I understand you didn't get my Mishnah Torah yet. You didn't get it yet. I think a lot of people didn't get it yet. If you would have read the book, he takes for granted you get the book, you read it, right? What else is there? Remember, those are dead before there was a Kesef Mishnah, Magi Mishnah, Lechem Mishnah, with all the Mishnahs in the back and the front. It was just Rambam, Amachai, an easy read. So he says, that's how the Rambam describes it's not Hichsav V'Dezor, it's Hichsav V'Dezor V'Chukos Hagoyim. When you understand why he did that, it's another topic for one. Why did the Rambam mix these two things together? There's a reason explained in the Akdama, and it also now explains why there's certain halachas there. But let that go. I think you're going to actually get the book before you get this letter of response. Because obviously this is already been around in the idea of the island of Sicilia, which is Sicilia. I mean, it's in Sicilia, so it's not that Sicily, so it's not that far from Montpellier. It's very commonly it's available in Sicily. Obviously, you can buy it by Amazon. Moshe Pashat b'Mizrach b'Mayrev u'b'Teimon Kopanim. So I explained this. Dr. Rambam. You must know. She'ein ra'oi lanu is not worthy of us. La'amin ela be'echem shlosha dvarim. We should only believe in one of three things. And this is a beautiful Seichel Rambam. Rishon, the first thing which should cause you to believe in anything, Davar Shetiel of Raya Brewer Midaita Shel Adam. If the logic demands it, if it's a Davar Brewer Midaita Shel Adam, geometry, etc., knowing kufis and mazos, we know astronomy. These are things which are proven. We can logically deduce them, and we know what they are. It's called math, physics, etc. Okay, this is divine, which are not maybe. There's no maybes here. It's what the Ramban says in the Akdama to the Milchamas. In Cheshbainis v'Tishbairis, he says there's mo face chotech. There is a clear-cut rayas, and once you have a clear-cut rayas, mo face chotech, we believe in it. He says Taka Gemara doesn't have that. He writes that in the Akdama, the Ramban. In Gemara, there's no moifus choitech. Like there is a certain sense of intuition. In math, there ain't no intuition. He says other ya, other name. You know what I mean? There's no middle point. There's no maybe. So he says first and foremost, the first thing you should believe in is things which are like math, etc. The second thing. So first of all, logical deduction, which is clear. Second thing is adam or things that you literally internalize through your five senses. You saw something, you know it's there. You touch something, you know it's there, etc., etc. You only know as much as you touched, or you know as much as you smelled, or as much as you heard. But what you experienced, internalize a phenomenon with one of your five senses, as much as that sense tells you, that's what's there. So you know that too. You saw a person, you see it's a person, you understand, oh, that phenomenon is called a Homo sapien. And that's a black. Mamish fits for time to get in America. His name, he's a George Floyd, whatever it is over there, Dalton, as an Adam, as a Shacher. Yeah, you see things with your eye. You can discern through your taste buds whether this is bitter or whether it is sweet. Oishi memashmesh is a cham, is a kar, or through your sense of touch, you can say this is cold, this is hot. These are all things that you know because you experience them through your senses. Oishi yishmash is a called sarur, is a called havara. Oishi ariach is a reach orev, is a reach biush. Whether this is something which is a pleasant smell or something which is spoiled and has a terrible smell of rot. Those are so far. Those are two things: logical deduction, and through the five senses. Then he said the third thing you should believe in. That is already you internalize as a fact, not just believe. Very important thing. You will believe things coming from people who have you trust equals prophets because you have a reason to believe in a prophet or minat tzadikim. Those are the three things. Those are the three things we believe in, and all of them actually are knowledge. Because the idea is once we believe in this, is we internalize and we live by that. That's called know. Like I know there was Matan Torah. I have whatever reason I have. I discussed this once in the shir. I can do it another time. That I know. That I don't even need faith for. That to me, that's much clearer to me than the fact that that I had a grandfather that was killed in Maidan. That I only know from my father. But in Torah, I know my father's eight apostle, he's an Eidechad, bosses Araya, but when it comes, he was there. I'll take his up, okay? But in Torah, I bet you bigger Eidim, it's much clearer to me. Okay, so these are things which it's called Minayat Tzadikim and Anavim. So those are the only things I believe in. You should start doing this. Either a clear logical deduction, something experienced through the five senses, or something that you hear from people which you totally trust the flow of knowledge equals tzaddikim and nevi'im. So any intelligent person, as soon as he encounters a phenomenon, will he believe this or is this imagine? Is this an illusion? What is this? He immediately has to analyze. And he has to say, why do you believe in them? The big you say in the Ramam, everything you accept, you are to analyze which of the three categories causes you to believe this. It's an unbelievable letter. You must analyze in your mind, in your thoughts, whatever you believe in, you must say to himself, this I do because I accept the Kabbalah of the Nevi'im and the Tzaddikim. Matan Torah, for example. Any historical phenomena, its only proof lies in Kabbalah, in a chain of a trustworthy chain of information. No, the fact that I don't know what that we were once a colony of England in America, or that Israel was Palestine under a British mandate. You only at the end they know it because it's a flow of information. You can't verify anything. You haven't seen the documents, and you can't know that the documents are not forged. There's a lot of that. Okay, the answer at the end of the day is because you have a live chain of people with a flow of enormous chain of people which constantly repeat the same story over until you get to the person and says, yes, I was there. For example, today there are many people which basically won't believe in the Holocaust. They have a lot of them in Germany today, in Europe today, Nebuchadnezzar Aleinu, it's there. What do you do with the documents? No, concoctions of the Jews. That's an easy thing to say. Why do I believe in the Holocaust? Because I trust my daddy. And I trust all the other people that I spoke to, and they all told me the same thing over and over and over again. Therefore, I have a flow of live information, which I totally trust. That's with Kabbalah. All historical information is nothing more than Kabbalah. One does not look for a mathematical or a proof or any type of logical proof that there was the Holocaust. That won't exist. Whatever you're going to have is because you're going to trust certain, there's going to flow of information that you trust. Did Washington cross the Delaware in the winter of 1776? For you who are Americans, okay? I actually should ask that as a question, but it doesn't matter, okay? Okay? You ever go around in New Jersey? In New Jersey, in every shtetl, it says, George Washington slept here. He slept all over the place in Jersey. Okay, you'll see, George Washington, he slept a lot. The teretz is because the Ikka of Muhammad was in Jersey. That's why it's called Washington Heights, you have to understand. this is the place where we try to where the Tories were where the Malucha was in England, was in New York. New York was a very loyalist community. That's where Cornwallis had his Malchus. And poor George, he was in Jersey, you understand? He was in Teaneck. And you know what I mean? The English were up there, you know, in Washington Heights. Yeah, they were, you know, and that's where it was. Okay. Now you try crossing the GW Bridge. You understand how hard it was for him to get there? I'm just trying to think of all these things. How do I know it's true? Because there's a Messiah of history that flows with it. You're not the first one who's been saying this. This has been going on and on and on and on until someone actually, you know, the day George slept here. Okay. That's how history works. And the only veracity of history depends how much you trust that chain of information. How much credit do you give to that chain of information? That's how you decide a historical fact. Now, people are quite lax with this, and that's the honest truth. They couldn't care less if George slept here or George slept there. George. So what's the difference? You wouldn't care. But there are things that you build your life upon, certain realities, because you trust a flow of history. One of them is Matan Torah. So this is Midavar Mepia Kabbalah. This is something to think about. You think I'm saying it in a humorous way, but you know, one day we should sit down and really analyze what I'm saying. I'm actually saying things which are very, very heavy. It's because they're heavy, I'm saying as a joke. Okay, that's the cloud. I learned that from Rabbi Akiva. To keep attention, you must crack a joke every so often. Okay, I in the Medrash, the famous Medrash, they all talk about. Rabbi Akiva saw that people were falling asleep during this year. So what did he do? He says, why did Esther have 126 Medinas? Because she was a granddaughter of Sarah, which lived 126 years. The Medrash is saying he didn't really mean it. He did it to give you guys up, to say something funny. And then have so many drushes to explain the co-relationship. Maybe you should see what the Medrash says. It says he didn't mean it. He just did it to wake them up. How do you know he meant it? It's so funny. Anyway, but this is something which is important. I'm laughing because Nebuchadnezzar said so. But you tell jokes. Those are the clouds. So the clouds you have to find out is the beginning. Why do I think this cocoa is hot? I touched it. This, I came to a logical deduction. This must be a truth. You have to categorize. This is the biggest side in life. Anything you believe in, any anocha you have, can you please categorize why? I'm not trying to teach you guys this the whole year or whatever. You must always ask, why do you think this is true? Okay, this may be rocking your religious boat, but the Rambam believes that if you're about there, you're going to have to make these categorizations. Okay? And if you believe in something, because that's what they say, okay, isn't that what most people believe in? Don't they say that no leaf will fall unless God wants it to happen? Don't they say all the they say things? Okay, which is not a logical deduction. You don't really know the historic chain. Do you know the historic chain? No, they say. It's a very common thing for young people. Who are they? The Sitra Achra and the Malach HaMavis. I don't know who they are. Who's the they? So the cloud is Pesi Yamin L'chol Dava. You're a fool. So the Rambam is. What can I tell you? I wouldn't want to be in that box. That's how the Rambam started this conversation. Well, to believe in astrology, first of all, is it logical? Does it come from the Nevi'im and the Tzaddikim? 3, or is this something which we can ascertain with our senses? The fools have. Sometimes people say, but it's in the book. You know what I mean? It's just gedruckt, and I always tell them, what do you want? So and if it's written, so what? Why would that make a difference? So the Rambam first. Now you can get the mocker of some of my remarks. There's thousands of books which are nothing more than hot air. There are many people who lived a lot of Eloi b'chokhmah. There are a lot of old, experienced, not intelligent people. What can you do? There's no ksafi, there's no insurance policy that if you lived X amount of years and read X amount of books, you're actually intelligent. You can be a nice chamor, nicest for him. What's the big deal? You accumulate a lot of things and you put it in a box and you're carrying it above you. Poor guy, you're carrying heavy weight. So he says, there are people that spend their time reading these books. I'm talking about you must decide which college course you're going to take in the future. Don't waste time reading Narishkeit, things which you cannot ascertain with logical deduction, Kabbalah, Amitis, or the third one is senses. That's a lot of disciplines. I'm not, especially if you do the humanities, you'll understand what I mean. Va'ala al-libam shehem chachamim. They come to the conclusion they have a doctorate. So I'm very wise. He has a few Russian tables after his name. Ich weiß PhD, LLB, mit alle Zechen, lefrachas dorten. But the sheyodo ishe chachmas. I'm a bucky in astrology. Shadavar shetayim b'rei va'olam ha'kol ela nashim v'chidim. Most of the people actually agree with them because they don't know. Very few people understand what I'm about to tell you now, he says. Multitudes of people have spent their lives believing in these things, printing books about it, getting degrees on it. V'chulu v'chulu. Zokter, hacholi agadol v'ara chola, shekol advam she'im tzodem ksuvim, yala alibu b'tchila shem emes. A major sickness. As soon as you see something written, you take for granted it's a truth. It's a very interesting truth. I see this multiple times. Avista state, I don't want to say which sefer. That's why sometimes, I will spend time to undo certain books. Certain form I like to point out the holes in. Why? Because why are you accepting this without thinking? It's a word of Moron, it's unser Moron with the Zecher Tzad V'Kosh L'Vrach L'Chai L'Olam Haba Shlusa Yogin Aleinu. We got all that before and after. All right, you believe? The Heilige Shem Shmuel says, did you check out whether it's intelligent? Why do you trust it? It must be Kabbalistic. I don't know. I learned Kisvei Ari. Don't know. Where's it from? What's the muck? What are you doing? Does he have it with Kabbalah Sinai? No, clearly not Kabbalah Sinai. No, the book says it. You trust it blindly. Why? You should respect it, but you have to analyze it. You have to respect it. You don't just walk away. These are very important people. You must learn it with major respect, but always have your antennas out. Okay, does it make sense? A. Mehechen Dantuni, where can the primary source of this thinking be? I can tell you right now, without saying names, there was a time which I wanted to get close to a certain very popular big time Tlachim, by the way. How will we describe these type of people? I think they call it Balei Machshava. So I wanted to get close to a certain person. And it really was accessible. It was quite easy. I listened to him for 2, 3 times, 4 times. I said, this is not for me. And Rav Hutner asked me, why is he not for you? I said, because he doesn't give sources and I have to believe him totally. I can't do that. He said, you're right. Even Rav Hutner, I didn't trust him. After every mimer, I used to go in there. He knew he wanted me to stay. I said, okay, where's this from? Okay, then I would understand. Okay, this is your interpretation of a certain shtickle in the Zerakash. Good, could be. At least I know where it's from. And I know how to don. Yes, sir, but just because you said it, you're a big man with a shina buad and pious and the words. So what? What is this blind faith in a beard? I mean, do you trust Theodor Herzl? He also had a beard. Okay? I think maybe people should have trusted him, by the way. But if I hot the board, I want to say Jesus had a beard too. I mean, Lahavdil, right? What is a beard? You know the story that one he was clean shaven, was walking in the street, and a Jew says to him, Reb Yid, Jew, where's your beard? He looks at him and says, Reb Beard, where's your Jew? You're Mr. Beard. Are you also Jewish? Okay. Okay. So you felt in Yiddishkeit if you're not a Chochem Mechukam. So steht in the Rambam. So one has to understand this is what one does. So he says a terrible thing. He says, Miyad yikvitz bedaita shel nima she'elu divrei chachma v'yemer beliba v'chile sheker asa eight tzayfrim. You mean for a non-intelligent thing, he would print the book? It can't be. It's printed. It's not intelligent. It is so true. Every self-help book written by some whatever, printed in Urim press, all of a sudden becomes the Bible, okay, and gospel, especially by the women. And that's what the Rambam says, Noshim v'ktan. So this is wasted time. And that because of these things we lost our malchus, and it destroyed our Beis Hamikdash, and that's why we are in Golus still today. Our forefathers sinned and they are no more here. Why? They had a lot of books dealing with astrology and Avodah Zarah and all the philosophies, etc. That is be'etzim Avodah Zarah. Is a slip of Avodah Zarah. That was the means of Avodah Zarah developing. They didn't just stop do Avodah Zarah, they were influenced by a lot of books. And they took the written word as if literally like the gospel. Yes, literally like the gospel. And therefore they started believing it, and this became a truth. Okay, so he says, well, they didn't spend time. Brother dear, you're about to do a rebellion. You're standing against the Roman Empire. You want to do something? Well, then don't you say God will help, or the stars say it's on our side. Make yourself a decent army. Learn tactics. Who are you coming against? You're going against the Roman Empire, for goodness sakes. They were sure it would work. They had the stars on their side, as they state the Rambam. Believe stuff you see in the Nevi'im that basically here he's talking about by his Rishon, that they were sure that the stars are on their side, that the Nebuchadnezzar will not come and do. There's no way you can destroy the Beis Hamikdash because the stars, whatever they are, the Nevi'im told them they're mad. Because they followed such narishkeit. Do Rabbi Isai. Now, this is a beautiful letter there. I actually analyzed this. I researched this. I read a lot of these books. Now, listen further. The first discipline I did before I went into further in my theological studies, I'm going to explain in a minute what this was. I first researched the idea of astrology. That's the first thing I did. Then he continues further. I read everything available on pagan deities. This is a heavy researcher. When the Rambam says something, you hold back. The man is saying, I have read everything available. He says the next sentence, I think, there isn't a single book existent in the world which was translated to Arabic, which was translated from other languages. I don't know if you're aware of this. For example, all of Greek philosophy that we have today, all the Chachma of the past, the Iliad, whatever you're going to call it, overwhelmingly, we have it retranslated from Arabic because everything was destroyed in Europe. You know what I mean? And all converged into the famous library in Alexandria, okay? The great library of Alexandria. And that's where we have most of our writings. Aristotle's ethics today are translations of an Arabic, which was a translation of the original Latin or Greece, whatever it was. So when he says, I read everything available in Arabic at the time, equals the whole library of religions. The man did a more than just a PhD. He read the library of comparative religions and philosophies. Very well-read man, Rabbi Dr. Moses, okay? Ache karasi oisai veivanti in Yonov. I read everything, not just like, with my feet up on the couch, and with a cup of coffee or whiskey. Rather, I read it, I understood it. I went to the core of their understanding. And after reading all that, now you understand, you learn when you open the Moreh Nevuchim, who are you reading? Nisbarali tam kol mitzvahs. After by reading all that, I began to understand that whole chelik shlisha, the Moreh Nevuchim, how he explains the time of the mitzvahs, that the mitzvahs overwhelmingly are there to uproot that type of thinking. He does that endlessly in Moreh Nevuchim in the third volume. Tom, people would think, why would he have to do basav or chalav? But it's not true. He writes before Shadah because basav or chalav was a tzuras avodah kechavim. Read it of that. How does he know? Because he read everything available at the time. I have this great book written in Arabic, which is the Moreh Nevuchim. But Rayas Beruras, I'll call mitzvah or mitzvah. Lo lekach utzrachna atah. So first of all, get this straight. I want you to understand what has he done here, the Rambam. First of all, he says you must accept things because of one of three possibilities: logic, senses, logic, senses, and a verified tradition of people you have a reason to believe. That's three. Then he comes and says, do not trust the written word. The written word alone doesn't mean a thing. It really depends who the author is and to what extent you trust the author, or that you actually verified it yourself on your own. He testified that he read multitudes of books and came to the conclusion that 99% of this shtusim. But he does point out there's a choyli raw of people trusting the printed word. Interesting. It's very contemporary. Das steht in Rambam. Du Rabbi Sai, shekol eisen dvarim kulam shegzeres kechavim, shem oimrim ye'er kach v'yer kach, u'mayloda shezeh yimshich le'shiyeh lo kach, v'yer lo kach. If you're born under this planet, under this sign, you're probably going to have a tendency going in this direction or in that direction. Kol eisen dvarim einon divrei chachma klal. He's attacking even the understanding of Amoraim. Yes, this is not divrei chachma, but tipshus hein. He takes it further. It's pretty rough to call this is tipshus. V'rayis berurah she'ein b'em doifi yeshli. I have conclusive proof of these things. Levatel ke'ikra esadoim, to annul, undermine the basic principles of all these things. He's talking after he researched and read these things. Now, here I'm going to trust him because of one reason only. Because it's not logical. I don't experience it with my senses. And I don't have a Messiah from people that I trust. So why would I believe it? Because a Tanoim accepted certain, it's like the equivalent of trusting the science of Chazal. Would you dare heal some today with the science of Chazal? You'd be over le'shirtzach. The scientists, as Rambam himself writes, they were not scientists. The best they did, they worked with the cutting edge of science available at the time. They believed heavily in leeches and bloodletting. Remember Yoyachper? Okay, the big thing that everything was solved by drawing blood. Yeah, well, that we realize today that overwhelmingly that weakens the person and makes him even more vulnerable. Everything they did with that, you know that, I know that. Look at your history, okay? Now let's be honest about this. So we look at certain things in Chazal, we look at them and say they are obviously talking about things which they heard or it was acceptable at the time. They tell you the story that in the sea there's an animal which is half animal, half vegetable. They didn't see it. No one says he saw it. It is commonly known, granted, because once it becomes commonly acceptable, and you figure it, but how did it really start? Some Joe Smith in the desert made up a Misa. If not, you should believe in the Book of Mormon, for goodness sakes. Okay, that's what the Rambam tells you. So don't look at the fact that a certain Amoraim accepted contemporary reality. That doesn't mean it's true. That means that's the life they're living in. They also did the science the way they understood it. One day you'll learn Mesechtes Nida, and you read the Amud Gemara there about the biological, the anatomical reality of the women's productive organs, the organs of productivity, the womb, etc. You look at it, then you open up an anatomy book and you say, "Loy korv zel zel." It's so far from one another. It's like Machni Yisrael, Machni Mitzrayim, and Bayam Suf. They never met. The Teretz says this is based on a certain perception of science, and what can I tell you? These machnas never meet. It's not. I once told you that some Sefer had a hard time with this. So he said it's because it was very late when they finally dissected people. So then they saw it didn't work. So he had a problem. So some Sefer says maybe the gufos of goyim are different than Jews because they each katzim v'ramoshim. And the Gemara is talking about the anatomy of a Jew, which doesn't eat trephis, but obviously the goyim eat trephis. Therefore, their reproductive organs are built differently. I mean, you realize this is one of those some ciphers where afterwards you say Kaddish Rabbanan because it's different Agoda. This is not. If you'd paskin with this, you'd be in a bad place. Okay. This is a double passion. So I'm trying to say yes. So that's what he's saying here. He says. None of the real scholars and thinkers of the period, which are the Greek scholars, no one ever wrote a book on this topic. Not those such things were ever printed or written. Ella, who wrote these books? Where do they all come from? They're ancient, from the Kasdim, Kaldim, Mitzrim, Knanim. Also, I saw those. Ancient primitive religions where we have no scholarship, no research, no logic. They believe things like a bunch of, pagans. Also, Oisa Atosh, Shikaru, Oisa Chachman, they call this wisdom. This was contemporary belief and faith at the time. We talk, look, anybody who knows anything about the history of thought, maybe you should do a little reading. Okay, the thought that you know today, your analytical thought, which is based on deductions, causative thinking, cause, effect, there must be a correlation between cause and effect. That whole thinking historically developed from Yavan. By us Jews, Baruch Hashem, it was earlier. Okay, Baruch Hashem. As a nation, we had Baruch Hashem, a Torah, and Talmud Bavli is very causative. But if you want to talk Yavan, that's Yavan. Yavan is we brought that to the world. The idea of very causative thing. You have to thank Yavan every day. I always tell you on Hanukkah, you should make a birchas goimel that there was a malchus Yavan. Then you have to explain. I once discussed this at length. But Yavan is only half the story. There's another half of Yavan which you don't want. We're not going there at the moment. But the fact that there wouldn't be a Chaim Brisker without Yavan. He's pure Yavan. I mean, anybody who understands to analyze the Reb Chaim, this is Yavan perfect, unbelievable Yavan. Forget the Rav. What are you kidding? He doesn't need rice. His Kool-Aid based on causative thinking. A svara and a machriach, a svara and a echrich. He doesn't even need a text. It's Kool-Aid Chachmas Yavan. Those are the people. He says, Shechibur b'chachman is asking b'chomini mada mahatlin v'soichkim umalivim be'ela arba. The great Greek fellas look and laugh at the Kasdim, the Kaldim, the Mitzrim, and the Knan. They think they're idiots. They're shepherds. They annihilate basically root and branch of anything those books were ever written. Even the Persians, he's actually a very beautiful historical approach here. They also already understood, we're talking about the Persian Medes, that already dissipated in Persia. It's actually interesting because the astronomy we know today, not about today, the astronomy at the time of the Rambam, and actually, until quite a while into Greece, late, okay, the Shorish Hashrashim is still built on Persian. The Chachma astronomy we got today from Persia. The Rambam writes this Mefurish in Nichas Kiddush HaChodesh. I think that's more than enough. So what have we learned here? We've learned here what the Rambam thinks about these things. It's very important. If you ask me, what is the seichel not to believe in this? Because there's no reason logically to believe in it. I said, point out, the Rambam points out that the idea that there's a deterministic reality due to astrology, it's mufrach mitzad seichel, and it's also mufrach mitzad theology. So mitzad theology, he'll explain. Yesterday we saw there's no schar v'oinish, etc. It means that God isn't just. But where was the seichel? So here you have the Rambam in the letter which talks about the seichel. I want to show you a little more. There's also very interesting Pirsha Mishnah to the Rambam in Seftas Avodah Zarah. You have that here. I sent it to you. This will be a class in how to accept or not accept ideas. You learn this good. You'll be a lamda. Dr. Rambam in Pirsha Mishnah of Avodah Zarah in Perik Daled Mishnah Zayin. Mishnah says, Shalus haskenim b'roimi. Im ein ritzonim b'avodah zarah, mipnei ma einam mevatla. If God doesn't want the avodah zarah, why doesn't He annul it? What's the problem? If He doesn't like it, why doesn't He annul it? In other words, this is what the Romans asked the Zikna Yehuda that were in Rome. We know Rabbi Shua went to Rome, etc. These are the Skenim, the very famous Gemaras, also in Bechira, Shnos Avodah Zarah. And I say famous Gemaras. I think you have a course called Famous Gemaras. No, isn't it like a course that you have? So this is one of the famous Gemaras. Okay. Amr lahem. Elu ledavar she'en la'olam tzorich bay. Hayu oivdim hayu mevatloi. Hareim oivdim lechama levanu lekechavim. Ye'oved oilama b'pnei hashoitim. What do you want? What do they worship? They worship the sun and the moon. What do you want me to do? To destroy the sun and the moon because some idiot attributes something to it? The world needs the sun and the moon. So what do you want to be mevatl? Atkat. Amr lahem im ken ye'oved davar she'en la'olam tzorich bay. Well, if that's good, but they also worship things that we don't need. And this goes on. You can read the Mishnah. Zok the Rambam. That's what I want to read. You have it in front of you. Please look at it. I want to read it together with you. They do not believe in what we call, you'll see in a minute, astrology. They ridicule them. Those who think that the stars and the moon, the sun and the moon, have ashpa, they're ridiculed. The chachamim hashleimim, which means the philosophers of Greece, they look at them, it means nothing to them. You see how much he attributes respect to the thinking of Greece. He uses them as a mucker that they are fools. Well, we already saw that also in the letter that he sent to Montpellier. So this is just another follow-up idea. To explain this at length will take time. I say this, he's talking about the Jewish people. They accept these things blindly. Yes, I don't want to go into certain people which accept these external things. You know, you say this, you jump this happens, this will work. No bodily can it. Okay. There's many things that we do that if you do them with the right intent, they can be meaningful. But if you do them for another intent, it can run between ma'onin, mechashiv, avodah zarah, or just purely idiot. I want you to understand. It's a very simple thing to get used to the idea. Really, have to know why. That's why the Rambam says, figure out what you're doing and why. You're going to a cave. You better figure out why and what. Because you probably, if you don't, you may be running into avodah zarah mamish. It's mamish dorish alamesim. It's not. I'm not joking. Okay, if you sing machnise rachmin, better tell yourself why. Because the Ramban thinks it's avodah zarah. So it's great to sing this on Rosh Hashanah. L'chat tu bi oived avodah zarah on Rosh Hashanah. It's a tremendous thing to do. So you better figure out why you're doing it. Maybe it's avodah zarah. Machnise rachamim. Das is the Ramban writes before in the Drush Rosh Hashanah. Das avodah zarah. You're in luck, as the Baal Shlama argues. Oh, so at least you know it's a machlekes arishonim, and you decide that you're machriya loike Ramban. Okay, I would be chayshish for the Ramban. Even a fake of a desire on Rosh Hashanah, more the Kula. The last thing I need is that on my scale. You're gonna come up to heaven. They can tell you, you are a desire. So what are you talking about? The Chabud mit Payas, I eat shirayim, and I don't know what. I look like straight out of Kiryas Yoel or Williamsburg. I don't know which side I'm supposed to be on. Okay, Vuven, yeah, why? Because you did what you did when you went to a cave. You didn't know what you were doing, and you didn't think the right things. You're a desire. You went for a Nasiya to Uman. You thought you're saving your soul. But whatever you did there with the kavanas you had, you have a desire. You better have the right kavanas before you go grave hopping. That's what I'm trying to say. And figure out what you're doing and why. And therefore, they do it correctly, intelligently. En malasot. So he says, the people actually are convinced that you do this, it mamish will work. The Rebbe blessed $1, mamish, it's going to save my life. The Rebbe gave me a piece of the Afikaiman, this is what's going to do it. Or I'm going to have a dry leaf from the Ishanis, from the Aravis, and that's what's going to save my bank account. We used to go to Moitzi Shabbos when I was in Knocke. I used to go for the summer, and it's a resort near in Holland, off the English Channel, Knocke, Dunberg. So we used to go into Antwerp on Moitzi Shabbos to the Heilige Rebbe Rabitzkel. I don't know if you know who he was. He was a tzaddik. He have to be a first cousin of my mother-in-law. So, and Rabitzkel, he used to give out garlic. And my shver had a safe full of it, in the safe, in where he put in, his deposit box, wherever he kept all his contraband, the illegal stuff that he can't declare. It was full of Rabitzkel's knubbel. I figured, I know what it's for, because it stinks so much, no Ganav is going to try to open it. Maybe that, whatever it is, he believed that this knubbel, this is going to mamish do it for him. Well, if I really pray that he knew what he was doing, because accepting it blindly is mamish. I don't want to say what it is. It's not Judaism. It actually may be a major avera. Here, I'm giving you examples of very good, fine, firm people. Believe me, my shver was a very fine, firm person. Okay, mamish, afal pk. You do have a desire. What can I do? So they don't kill you, but you still got to do kapara. So in your al chaitz, you'll include the different shirayim and the other stuff that you think is going to save your life. Okay, you got to figure out. You pushed because you wanted to get an apple from the Pittsburgher Rebbe. Right? I remember he once came to Karen B'Yavna and they gave out shirayim. The guys were pushing it. I says, "What are you doing? It's dry cake. Why would you want it? Are you kidding? It's unbelievable." I remember I was in Skver. The Rebbe once called me. He wants to talk to me. So after Purim, I came early. They were in the middle of the Suda. So they made me sit there, with all the elder gentlemen. I feel very awkward. And then the Rebbe sends me a piece of challah. What am I supposed to do with this? So a guy told me, put it in your pocket for shmirah. I said, I have to remember, it's about Pesach. It's going to be chametz. You have to burn it. No, you don't burn it. You have to eat it. It's against it. What can I tell you? In Grodno, they didn't do this. Not where the Ramah was either. What can I tell you? And this is whatever it is I've just read to you. Afilu tovim v'chasidim mi'anshei teiroseinu chayshvim shein dvarim nechaynim ella shebasur mitam haTorah. They actually think all these things work, but what? It's asur al pi din. So he says ve'enam yodim shein dvarim b'teilim shikrim hizhira Torah aleim kederech shizhira ala sheker. That's a very strong statement. Just like the Torah was mazer not to lie, the Torah was mazer not to do an ma'ayin and a mechashev, because that's a sheker. Just to the aside, the Rambam says an unbelievable nakuda. You don't think for 1 minute it's taka emes, but there's an isser. No, he's hira Torah and ma'ayin and mechashev because it's sheker. A tremendous yisaydi. He knows how Kodesh Baruch Hu hates sheker. Okay, weiter zot der Rambam. Ve'in dvarim shenaslam pirsum Rav Etzel ha'amim. ויסוד לכך, the people where this started this were exactly the people that Avram Avinu was breaking their idols and walked away from. The whole Lech Lecha is Avram walking away. After reading and researching history of Avodah Zarah, he knew exactly what was happening at that time. I think I once mentioned, he even has a whole description of the high priest of paganism, which was the counterpart and the big opposition to Avram. You probably don't know this. His name was Tammuz. The month of Tammuz that we are going to be going in is named after the archy-devil of Avodah Zarah, which is the opponent of Avram Avinu. Do you know that? It's a Rambam Mar Nevuchim. I don't have the books available to me, but Mar Nevuchim I have. He writes this. So we are another 2 weeks are coming into the month, which is named after the archy-devil. They think it's unbelievable. I think we should try calling it by another name. It's named after the Kohen of Avodah Zarah, which stood in opposition to Avram Avinu and tried to get rid of him. He's the reason for the Lech Lecha. Pretty good. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Okay, so anybody calls himself Thomas, he should think twice. Okay? Okay, where do you think Thomas comes from? It's etymology. Pasha comes from that Kohen of Avodah Zarah called Tammuz. Weiter, that's just information. Okay, so he said these are the people that Avram Avinu had to run away from. He's the one that argued again, which countered and contested their meaningless ideas. But Hashem believe him in as God infused him with wisdom, he was capable of opposing this. Those are the people which gave importance to the stars, and attributed them capabilities that are much more than what they had. All these things are ancient, going back to that point of time, roughly of Nimrod, etc., after Dara Palaga, when the world sunk into Avodah Zarah. All this is elaborated on in Perik Aleph Halacha Avodah Zarah Halacha Aleph Beis. I'm going to go and skip, and they're going to flip the page where the Rambam finally writes. Where I flipped the page on the right column. If you see next to a small letter 30, you go down a few lines. It says, then idiots came around. Those people did this for a purpose. They wanted to get people together, and they made up figments of imagination in order for people to follow them. That's what he actually says when I skipped. But then afterwards, people, which was just they love a book, and the book said so, and they believed it. And all of a sudden, since they found it in books, you can get something good out of this. Don't realize that all these things were concoctions of people with a political agenda. A very parallel to that, the Rambam writes the what we call the tzedaikim. So people say, what's a tzedaiki? You don't believe in Torah Shebal Peh. Rambam says that's shtiyot. That's not what happened. What happened is they didn't believe in anything. They wanted, as the Gemara says, they said les din v'les dayan. There's no accountability, and therefore there's no concept of mitzvahs and schar and einish. That's the mefurish Gemara. So how did it become that you don't believe in Torah Shebal Peh? How did one develop into the other? So the first, they said, because Antignashi said what he said, they said les din v'les dayan. So how come all of a sudden you believe there's din v'dayan for Torah Shebiksav and not for Baal Peh? So the Rambam, because they wanted to create a movement, and they realized in order for a movement to happen, people have to accept it. People don't walk away so fast from something. What you do is you water it down and modify it and introduce some elements that people will want to keep. For example, when Paul decided to bring Christianity to the pagans, he introduced certain pagan customs into religion. Therefore, they would accept them. That's why you have evergreen trees on Xmas. You have a St. Nicholas with a reindeer. There were no reindeers in Palestine where JC was walking around. We don't have snow. Okay. That is, okay, go on and on. These are all remnants of Saturn of ancient, the Gemara brings it up by Avodah Zarah, an ancient Roman holiday dealing with the equinox. The tkufa, when the tkufa of Chayrif comes in, that was the tkufa of exactly around that period of time, somehow in Kislev, and that's what there was a holiday called Saturna, and they kept that and instead of worshiping some pagan deity, so you decided that Yossel the Mamzer was born then. What's the difference? They used a common, comfortable elements and infused it with a new meaning. This is normal because people will not listen to you otherwise. So the same thing here. They were kaifer in everything, but they couldn't say that openly. The Rambam says they would have killed them. I mean, you must know this, right? It's a Rambam in Pirkei Avos. They would have killed them. So because they wanted to create a political movement, so they concocted a lie that said Torah Shebiksav and not Torah Shebalpeh. Obviously, once you decide Torah Shebiksav and not Torah Shebalpeh, you now gave yourself the capability of making Torah Shebiksav pliable and workable, and you can do what you want. I look at the reform movement and the conservative movement, and you'll understand. It's very simple. Once you walked away from the authority of halacha of Torah Shebalpeh, you create your own interpretations and etc. You do what you want. It's like I once read in the Akdama. I had once 3 volumes of Reform Responsa. Trials and Shuvas of the head of the halacha committee of the Reform movement. His name is Rabbi Dr. Solomon Freehoff. Was a rabbi in the Reform Temple, big temple in Philadelphia. So it's a very interesting book. He writes in the Akdama, he says, halacha is not binding for us. Of course not. Of course not. Why would we? You know, it's just man-made, etc. But it will inform us of cultural trends and therefore give us guidelines of how we should interpret things today. So what's he doing? He's using it as much as it'll work with what he wants. I understand him. It's very nice. Well, that's what Tzaddik and Baisis did. What did it allow them to do? That now a Ben Nachris is called a Jew, and a cat is called a mouse, and a horse is called a pig. What's the difference? This is saying a cat is a mouse and a goy is a Jew. So there's El Bezach. They can redefine what they want. As far as I care, maybe Melechus Shabbos is to snore. I don't know, whatever they decide. Okay, that's Mamash what Tzedaikim did. You have to understand. So that's the cloud. People don't realize these things, that some things, ideologies are made in order to gather the masses. And then simpletons actually take these things for real. Now, I'm not going into the anthropological development of certain movements that we know within Orthodoxy, which also certain things were done to galvanize leadership. And then somehow all of a sudden people believe it's a gula and I don't know what. And they won't burn the Shirayim for chametz. You know what I mean? I remember once reading a tshuva in a Galatiana Sefer does bittul work on Shirayim. Because the chayre, you're not really a mavatul. You can't be mavatul Shirayim. This is not for the ara. Does bittul work on Shirayim? I remember one of these Galatiana tshuvas. This is the Rambam. So he says, etc. So the Rambam basically says, one must understand, again, this is what he writes in the clearest way possible. There is no reason. When I want the logical deduction why this is meaningless, because there's no reason to believe it. If you know the historical background of these thinking, you realize they're concoctions made for a social reality, to galvanize a group of people. That's when it started. And afterwards, idiots went and took it and looked for what it was. Any people with intelligence, knowing its source, ridiculed it. This is what the Rambam means when he says, we just heard that logically it's meaningless. What do you mean? There's no chacha that it's wrong, but there's no reason to say it's right. That's the cloud. It's written in a book. You know what? So is the New Testament, also printed in a book. You can read it. Okay. Ad kan to today. There. I hope this is very clear, and this is something you will take further and apply it also to how you learn Gemara. Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, regular shir, right? I sent you very important. I sent you a package. Try doing on your own, developing the relationship between the Gemara in Bamitzia to the Gemara in Ksubas. I sent you a package of information, very important. Okay. See you. Bye. Great evening.